What is happening? Can you hear?
Wait, I'm mad because I really thought that it was gonna put you like in this with me,
I don't
and it
understand what's
didn't.
happening. You can hear me, yeah?
Yeah, can you hear
Uh,
me?
yeah, hold on. What is happening?
I thought, okay, so Zoom has this new thing called immersive view.
Right. Sorry, I'm fixing my audio. Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm looking at I don't know. Are you recording? Yeah. I don't know what I'm
Yeah,
looking at.
I wanted to be recording when you came on because I really thought that it was gonna load it and pop you up next to me. Like it looks like you were sitting in the chair next to me. Maybe because you weren't in it when I started it. Let me exit it and try it again.
Okay. I can't.
Stop immersive view for everyone. Okay, we're gonna try this again.
I don't
I am
understand.
so excited about this.
The host has
Oh
stopped
wait, oh
immersive
yeah. I
view.
had to start it when you were in it with me. That's why.
Oh my god. People are
I started it too soon.
Oh my god.
Uh, guys, this is, first of
I don't
all, really
Wow.
bad quality, but we're totally doing this because I
I wonder
absolutely love this.
I wonder if this helps. 1 second if I blur my
Oh, your background? I'll do it
Oh, it
too.
doesn't help. It doesn't because I'm
It
in
might not
immersive
change
view. Yeah,
anything.
yeah, yeah.
Oh no, it changed it a little bit.
I couldn't click on it. It's grayed out. It's fine.
Original
Wow.
ratio. I can do HD. Oh Jesus, that just made everything like real crazy looking. Oh no, HD
You
made
can,
it worse.
yeah.
What's happening
Just
now?
just leave it. I don't know what's happening.
Okay, well, guys, we're playing with Zoom. This is cool. It looks like I'm sitting right next to you.
This is yeah, don't do that. That's weird.
I love this.
Okay, cool. Hi.
Hey, guys, welcome to the Be More podcast. If you watch us on YouTube, Brittany is starting to play with
Zoom
um,
features
Zoom
apparently.
features because now they're all fancy. There's all these apps too that I'll have to play with at a different date. Um, And now it
Yeah.
looks like Maria and I are sitting next to one another, which is super
Yeah.
cool. So if you watch this, it looks like we're together staring at you, just like we normally are when we're together.
I just This is so weird to even just look at. We're at a cafe apparently.
It's
It says
called,
Zoom coffee in the back.
yes, we're at the Zoom Cafe. I am such a fan of this. There are some other ones. There's this other one that looks like you're sitting like in front of a fireplace that of course I picked originally, but it makes like us really tiny, like this big.
Oh, interesting.
And
Okay.
it's not big enough, so I had to pick one that has like better sizing to it. But I think this is super cool. There are
Yeah,
moments
no,
when I like technology again, and currently I
this is
like
one of the
technology right
moments.
now. I will make sure that I put a picture of us doing this on Instagram for all of our friends who listen on Spotify.
Uh,
But we are
man.
hanging out at the. I like your shirt, or
My
not your
shirt?
shirt. I read your hat, and then I said I like
Oh.
your shirt. Sorry. Um,
um yes, it says mad for the people that are watching or not watching, sorry.
I
And
did. Did we introduce ourselves?
I mean you said hi, but I didn't say hi.
Oh, okay. Sorry. All right. So, hey guys, welcome back to the Be More podcast. I'm Brittany.
I'm Maria. And today, I mean I'm keeping the whole like first 5 minutes of this. Um do we want to talk about what were you supposed to talk about last time? Some
Okay, wait. We have to.
preventative healthcare or something?
So let me tell you where my brain was at when I started this. But if
Sure.
you guys don't really know, we're gonna have a little conversation about preventative healthcare today. And I'm terrible and so unprepared for this, and don't have like the resource up that I started reading when I had first texted you, and I
Mhm.
haven't, in all honesty, really been reading since. So I don't
That's
have too
fine.
much more information to fill you in on. We'll have
Okay.
to like get there when I keep reading. Um,
Sure.
but it's very serendipitous. It's always funny how like things in life come to you at like just the right time. So
Yeah.
side note, if you guys watch this and you're like, why does Brittany look like she's, I have so much makeup on my face right now, which is not a norm for me, but I had to go, I did like my makeup wedding trial, and I had the
Uh
eyelashes that I had on before
okay.
this were like
Yeah.
something,
The real deal.
something. I have yet to wash my face, so I'll get
Okay.
there and I'll let you know what the sink looks like after I do.
Should I just show them the text?
Wait, I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
No, like just the length of it. Like
Guys,
I
I
don't know
would
if this
like
is
you to
gonna.
know
Oh,
that
this is so annoying. I have to like put it back
between
here.
the the last time
It's so bright.
uh
See, it's
okay, I
see,
found it. Okay. The
Zoom is
last
great,
time
and then all of a sudden, like I try and do this, and
I
like
know.
it like
I
you
know.
see.
The last time that Maria and I had an episode, I was at Maria's house, and we were talking about, wait, did you get everything figured out with your like water issue, by the way?
Oh yeah, it's all fixed now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Aside from that, though, Maria was like in the middle of putting together a dining room table, realizing she had no like tools at her house. So I didn't know what
Yes.
to get her as like a home warm coming gift. So
Yeah.
I got her, like I
A
sent her a little
toolbox.
toolkit. Have you
Thank you.
used it yet?
I have actually. I use the measuring tape situation to measure out stuff. Yeah,
Solid.
I've used it. Thank you. I appreciate
You
it.
want to know what's? You're so welcome. But you want to know what's? I just want everybody to know that when I said I was going to do that, I did do that, and I followed up on it. But the as I'm typing and trying to do this at the same time, the funny thing about it is like when you're buying a friend like a home toolkit, like a toolkit of
Yeah.
any sort, or buying a toolkit of any sort, and you're not sure, like toolkits come in many shapes and sizes, friend, and there are some like
Yeah.
intimidating and unnecessary things that come in them. So I was like sending her, I was like, what kind of screwdrivers do you think you're gonna
I was
need?
like, I need
Do you
both of
want
those.
it
A
was so
flathead
funny.
or a regular like Phillips screw or whatever.
It was just a funny because then I was going through them and first of all, like super annoying. But
Hmm.
um the when you're going through and you're shopping for tools, there are like very outright annoying like these are pink for girls. And I was just
Oh,
like
are
this
there
is
really?
super annoying. Like
Really?
I and it doesn't have to be just for girls, but they were like female starter toolkit and I was like ew.
Did it
But
really just? Is there really distinction
yeah.
on some of them? Huh.
Yeah, and it like just was
All right.
color and I was like I can't believe we're still in these days. Um but I saw that and it was annoying. But anyway, so Maria has her little beginner toolkit.
Yeah, thank you. It's just a
You have
10
to
piece
now
beginner thing, and that's all
you
I need,
have to
really.
now like take a picture of it and then like share it so that I can put it on our like you have to take a picture of yourself using it or get your sister to take a picture
Oh,
of you
that's weird.
using it so that I can
Okay.
share it and look and be like, look guys,
I
Maria's
did a
using her
thing. She's
toolkit,
using it. Yeah.
putting her stuff together. Um okay, so I really wanted to talk about preventative healthcare, and it's bothering me because someone shared a. This is like not good. I think I opened it on like my school computer, which is why I can't find it. So I'll
It's
have to
fine.
try to search for it.
Uh-huh.
Um, but so
How did this come up?
so okay, so this is where everything started. So
Yeah.
as I've talked about before on the podcast, I'm listening to Unlocking Us, the podcast Brené Brown
Right.
hosts, right? So again, mind you, I listened to this literally only time that I'm in the car that I can listen to this is in the morning when I'm on my way to school because there's really nothing else really in my head.
That's fair.
And I have time to process everything. So I will read to you what I wrote Maria and try to say
Oh,
it
yeah,
in the
verbatim? Sure.
context of like the emotions that I'm in. So I was listening to Unlocking Us and this is what I sent to Maria. My blood is boiling, so I just have to get this out. And hopefully we can talk about this in the next episode. I'm listening to, mind you, autocorrect is awful, and so I'm just going to read what it's supposed to say. I'm listening to Brene Brown talk to Dr. Vivek Murphy. He was the Surgeon General in 2014 to like 2017. He just said something that I feel like would blow the minds of most people in our society. That's text one. Here's
Yeah.
text two. He just wrote a book on loneliness and connection and has been doing research on both and how loneliness influences overall health. This is just doesn't make any sense, so I'm going to read it as if it makes sense, and then
Yeah,
Maria can
please.
tell you how terrible it is later. Since his time as Surgeon General, some of the research that he's gathered and like gone through is about findings of data that show that loneliness can be the leading cause. Loneliness and lack of connection can be the leading cause of death, and how it like and how determined he is like that's supposed to be detrimental. It says determined. How detrimental it is on people's health. He said that he only learned about this while he was the Surgeon General. It was something that they never touched on in his medical practices or in like his local practices, like while he was doing his internships and his
Hmm.
residencies and stuff while he was in
Yeah.
med school. So he literally said, like, I started studying this when I was the Surgeon General because it became relevant and I had never had to talk about this or think about this before. So Brene being, and then this is the next thing I said. So Brene being the badass bitch that she is, asks him, why do you think that is? His response,
Yeah, can you?
okay, I don't know what this is supposed to say, but I will tell
Yeah,
you how I was
literally,
feeling.
just I don't even know what this
His
means.
response just completely like fuck, like it like emphasizes everything I've ever said and hits it right on the head about how doctors aren't learning about this stuff because they focus on physical health over mental health. Doctors are more likely to, he literally said this, doctors are more likely to stay in their area of expertise where it's easy instead of going on and trying to dig deeper into underlying causes of illness. Then he told a really interesting story about, okay, so I'll tell you this analogy that he gave. So
Sure, go ahead.
he flat out, his response to her when she was like, why do you guys not learn about mental illness or how mental illness affects people's overall health. I mean,
Yeah.
could you imagine having this long career to the fact where like you are so well established in your work and ahead in your field that you become the Surgeon General of the United States and never in the time prior to that, like when suicide is the
Even
number one cause of death in our country,
yeah.
never at any point prior to that are you acknowledging the fact that mental health has any type of influence on overall well-being. Like, uh,
That was just
what is that?
society.
But what is that? Right. But okay, let's talk about how, first of all, before I get into this analogy, let's talk about how fucked up that is when the number one cause of death in our country is suicide. But we're not talking about how mental health influences wellness. And you're the Surgeon General and you've never learned about that before, but this is your country's statistics.
That's just the history of medical science,
But like,
right?
the talk about the reality of how not balanced that is.
Oh well, yeah. I
Like,
mean,
what are
yeah, yeah.
you, if your whole job as a Surgeon General is to keep people healthy and manage their wellness and be able to like combat any issues that come up, and the one thing that's killing people is mental health, and that's not the area of study that our Surgeon General is like, do you like, guys, I hope that you see how ass backwards this is, because this is the stuff that makes me mad. So the analogy he made to the medical field that
Yeah, go ahead.
I was pissing myself about
Go ahead.
and also still angry about, he was talking about how he tells a story of how there's a guy who's out in like a parking lot, right? And he's like, he's under the light in the parking lot, like looking around on the ground. And
Hmm.
a bystander comes up to him and says, like, hey, are you looking for something? Can I help you? And the guy says, yeah, I lost my keys. I'm trying to find them. So both of them start looking around. And after a little bit, the guy who comes over to help him is like, look, are you sure you dropped them over here? Like, I don't see anything. And the guy's like, oh, well, actually, I dropped them over there in that bush, but there's no light over there and there's light over here. So I figured it'd just be easier to look for them while I'm over here. That was his relation to the medical field as we know it today. And
Like doctors stay in their lane and won't even dive into anything that's super
his
difficult.
right, his
That's
summary
just
was that
doctors. That's just
they
yeah.
only work within the realms where they feel comfortable. They look for the things that they know,
Yeah.
and they don't dig any deeper outside that realm because they don't know the answers to that.
That's just the medical field in general.
That
That's why you have to
is
go to so many different doctors to figure out what you're wrong with, what's
fucked
wrong with
up.
you.
But bottom, like the baseline of that isn't even that you could go to all of those doctors and still not know what's actually wrong with you because they're only looking at certain things. Like, perfect example is the
Hmm.
bullshit that I am currently going through, and I have no problem sharing like my medical stuff
Go
here.
ahead. Yeah.
So the last week has been very fun for me. So we were at your house, like chomping down
Yeah.
on Jollibee. If you
Yeah.
didn't watch that episode, go back and listen to it.
Yeah.
It's
Go back
quite
one.
entertaining.
That was a that
And
was a journey.
so I've been having since about July, I've been having like issues with my stomach. And
Okay.
for
And you
anybody who
haven't figured it out
no,
yet.
so for
Okay.
anybody who doesn't know, my issues with my
Hmm.
stomach date back to like
Your birth.
circa 2010.
Oh.
Because I've gone through stuff before, but for some whatever reason, stress is probably getting in the way.
Yeah. It doesn't
I'm
help
having a
really.
bigger issue. Like, I'm having episodes of like issues again. So
Hmm.
I had to go to the doctor on Tuesday, and if you guys remember, I had like my friend Dara came on who has
Hmm.
celiac disease,
Yeah.
and she talked about how celiac is something that really wasn't understood for the longest time, and they're just starting to understand it now, and like all of these like misunderstood things about gluten and blah 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 blah. So I'm going to the doctor and I'm telling my doctor like all of my symptoms and my family history and all of this stuff, and she goes, oh, well, it sounds like you have celiac disease.
And you're like, oh, okay.
And I'm sitting there going, what did she just say to me?
Right.
So now I'm going through like the phases of panic in my head, like, oh my God. Like, oh my
Yeah.
God,
Like this
I
might
know
be
Dara's
the
story and I know what she's gone through. Like, oh my God. So
yeah.
total panic hole, like going into the panic hole, texting Dara like for 3 days straight. Love you, Dara, if you're listening to this. Thank you. You're amazing. um, and just like having my insides like explode in my head and literally in my body. And I'm just getting so frustrated. Thankfully, my test came back negative, but then I start
Okay.
texting my cousin, who I know, who's older than me,
Yeah.
and I know she's gluten free. So I'm
Okay.
asking her like, have you been tested for stuff? What came up? And she's like, I've been tested for everything, and everything came back negative, but I still can't eat gluten because I have issues with it. Like, I know I feel the symptoms, and this is what I deal with.
Are
So
humans
I was
supposed to
like,
be eating this much gluten? Probably not, right?
we want to know the truth. It's literally in everything, and it's kind of scary.
Gluten. Yeah.
Yeah, like the way that like we were so surprised by like peanut allergies and like why people have peanut allergies, and like then we find out that there's like the traces of peanuts and everything because
Yeah.
you ever really like this because you're dealing with it now, but like you read the
Yeah.
labels on stuff and it's like may contain peanuts because it's
Yeah. Because
processed in the same
it was
place.
processed in the same fucking factory. I'm like, this
So
is great. I'll take my chances.
right, so there's a lot of stuff that has so much like wheat based things and other things that have like barley malt in them. This is an epiphany that I had myself. I have like allergic reactions to like really strong like hoppy beers and Lindt door truffles. You know what I'm talking about? Those like
Yeah.
delicious things everyone loves. I can't eat them because I physically get sick from them.
That sucks. I think
And
we had a conversation before,
the
and it's
things that
something.
and I couldn't understand why.
Mm-hmm.
There's also like a
Right.
type of Hunt's barbecue sauce that makes me sick, but
That's so random.
they have barley in them, like barley malt,
And
and
that's what makes
barley
you
is a
sick.
very pure form of gluten.
Mm-hmm.
So even if I don't have celiacs and I have to go get allergy tested in 2 weeks, so that's gonna be real fun.
Mm.
But like even if I don't have that, I could still have an intolerance to it, and I might not come up on any charts, but the symptoms that I get are terrible.
Yeah, you might just it's just an allergic reaction.
Right, but
Yeah.
so I'm going to the doctor. She's like, "Yeah, this is really common now, and like this is an area that she studies." But like, what? It just doesn't help with my distrust of doctors to have a surgeon general be like, "So
Yeah.
here's the truth."
Yeah. I mean, like, because anyone that's gone to a doctor isn't really like big fans of them because they don't. They just.
That's sad. And then this is like the
Well, yeah.
problem. Ugh.
And like,
And
I just don't wonder why. Why is it because doctors all? I don't want to generalize, but like a certain type A, B person that they're all just like, I'm gonna stick with my lane, and
I honestly,
you know
I
what I'm
feel
saying?
like it's
Like,
got to be overwhelming, but I feel like
and I get it. Like they've gone to school for just
have
general stuff, and then they
they
specialize.
specialize.
When do they
But
specialize? I don't know the
it's
trajectory of.
not even the matter of like you being in a specialty because it's like me, right? I work within a specialty of like alignment and posture and like function, right? I'm not going to
Yeah,
turn
yeah,
around and be like, I don't know. I know the GI tract so well. Clearly I don't. I don't even know my own. So
yeah.
I'm not going to turn around and be like, I'm a wellness person for that. But like, I'm also not going to be like, you know what? I only work in this, so I'm only going to look at this part of your body, and then we're just going to hope that that's it. Because if that's not the answer, then I don't know what to tell you. Like,
Go on to the next person. Right. I mean,
and
uh,
it's not to say that doctors, we need doctors, and thank God for doctors. But I feel like we've spent so many years blowing so much fucking smoke at them and up their asses that we take everything they say for the final word. And then to have this man who literally was the leading medical person of our entire country to turn around and be like, so I don't want to practice medicine anymore because I've been practicing medicine wrong not wrong, but like I haven't been practicing medicine
in a whole
in a holistic way,
like yeah.
the way that I think it really should be. My career.
Look, I mean, again, we're not knocking down doctors and their ability to like serve the public. It's just it's with any big profession. Like I think there just has to be um it's like a change in like in just what am I trying to say? Like in like training.
Medicine in our country has been bastardized. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
not even a matter of modernized. It's like it's become this like this overly inflated egotistical thing, and like
Because people are
we're
like, "Oh, you're a doctor." Like
right, and it's
like
like
it's like you're on a
you're
pedestal
not even
situation.
looking at the whole person, right? For him to bring up the fact that like, oh, I'm not looking at what's going on in your head, but like there's so much research, and the sad part about it is we claim so much about wanting to be so much more advanced than the people of like Eastern cultures and the monks and everything, but like they're healthy and well off because they spend a lot of time on mental health. So like us trying to rebel and deviate away from this and be like there's got to be something better, we're just getting further from the fact that like we need to go back
It's
to
just
that.
it's just capitalism that's causing this.
Well, but this is the problem, right? The medical industry has become an area of capitalization, and
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
even talks about Vivek talked about how like they work very closely with the pharmaceutical industries
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
because
The drug
it's
companies.
the Sam and I were actually just having a conversation about Adderall today. Guys, my best friend works as a substance abuse like
Counselor?
counselor, yeah. And we were talking about Adderall and how I did not know this, but she just told me this, that when you are like drug tested, Adderall comes up as like a methamphetamine in your system
Really? I mean,
because
okay. I didn't
it's
know
the
that.
same type of like stimulator for your brain that like meth would
Meth
be,
does? I see. I
except
mean,
it's a legal amount and it's given another name that sounds fancy.
it's yeah, it's
But
a
it's okay for us
medication.
to have that
Uh,
if it's
yes,
prescribed to you by
if
a
it's
doctor.
prescribed to you by a doctor in certain dosages, correct? And if you're not abusing it. Look, I mean,
No.
I get it.
No. Sorry, no.
No, I mean, I get it.
This is
Like,
why I get frustrated. This is
right.
why I'm
I
frustrated.
mean, Adderall, Xanax is a whole. I mean, it's a whole different. But like all
Well,
these things
Xanax is
can
a
be
different
very.
type of.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm just saying, like
It
these are
would
all
be better
different
to
things
just
that
give
are
people a
addictive.
like right, and that's part of the problem too. It becomes addictive, and then people don't realize that they're addicted to it. But
Yeah, and it's just a
anyway,
whole.
so this was the whole thing that I listened to that made my entire stomach light on fire at 6 in the morning.
So mental health is not being obviously a
Addressed.
priority.
And it
Yeah,
like the
not even
way
addressed.
it
Correct.
affects all of your systems when your brain is messed up. And then on
Yeah.
top of this, after listening to this terrible thing to give me, I've been saying for years, you know me well enough to know that I've been saying all of this for years. But as if hearing it from this guy was not enough, I get a book recommended to
Right.
me.
Uh huh.
And the book is called What Your Doctor Doesn't Know Could Be Killing You. That I've started to read that talks about all of the stuff that we just started getting into. And honestly, I read it in really intently for like a couple of chapters, and then got kind of frustrated again and had to step away from it. But the summary of all of this is that our medical field right now is so much about medicine is not just about treating the sick, and that's what our medical field is all about. Like our health and
Mm-hmm.
wellness is about repairing the damage we've already done instead of addressing the damage before
To
it's
come.
caused.
I was like, to
Right,
come. Yeah,
addressing
yeah.
the damage to come. And it's funny because the older I get, I made this comment today while I was talking to my mom. I was like, I feel like a lot of people make comments about like don't get older, things get harder, your body starts falling apart.
Don't get older.
But like I don't think that the
Don't get
words that
older.
I said specifically to my mother were if I would have known what like I would that if I would been if 10 15 years ago I would have known that I'd be dealing with the stuff that I'm dealing with now with my body, I probably would have tapped out way sooner. I'd have been like, no thanks. I'm
Yeah.
good.
I mean, I get it.
Like in a not fun way.
Because
But
well, it's just like our society is so unhealthy that it doesn't aid to our physical health. Like you know what I'm saying?
or any type of health.
Yeah, just any type of health. Correct. The especially like just the
So
American culture is just like overconsumption of not even just food but media, of everything, of entertainment, of um you know
yeah, you're right.
I don't like buying stuff, like retail therapy is
And
all
let's go back to the
you know
fact how Maria established how I'm not satisfied by things and
yeah.
look at the culture that we live in.
Everything is just overconsumption, and it's not healthy, and it just puts us in like a. This is also why America or Americans are like we're so much better because we can over consume things, and we
I feel
have
like that's a
more
weakness
things.
though.
Well, no, yes, it
I
is,
mean, but like
but
you know what I mean? Like it's interesting for me to look at that and see people as seeing that as a strength,
people see it as a strength that we have so much opportunity, but also the opportunity means we're over
but we're
consuming
also
all the resources and leaving
dirt
other
poor
people.
as a country in
Yeah,
funds.
no, I
So
mean like even our infrastructures, like like we say we're like the best, but like I'm just looking around at roads that are unpaved properly, buildings that are collapsing, thing like friggin' like pole like
roads that
street
are flooding to nowhere.
right, just everything. I'm just like, yeah, we're this is great.
That's the thing that kills me about I think what kills me about our country is that we have so much more opportunity than other countries do. Like that really is the foundation of what makes America amazing and why people always
Yeah,
want to come here. But the sad
correct.
thing is the the poor decisions that are made when you're given the option to have choice.
Yeah,
That's
and
like
that's just like yeah, that's just
unguided, this is why I used to like love those funny references about the fact that like our life in America is like somebody else's Sims game
yeah, basically.
because sometimes it honestly feels like that. Like
Yeah,
it's the danger of us. And
it's like the Wizard of Oz
I
effect.
don't think that Americans like maliciously make choices. Mm, I'm gonna say this with hope. I don't think that I don't think that the average American would make a choice that's gonna be like malicious
Against.
against anybody else, or thinking,
Okay.
as this is coming out of my mouth, I'm having a hard time finishing the sentence,
In
friends.
what aspect are you saying?
Like, I don't think that I don't okay, because we're talking about medicine. Like, I don't
Yeah, let's
think
bring us back to medicine. Actually, let's
I
just
don't think
let's just
that
not go that way.
we've made a mess of modern medicine with the intent of making a mess of modern medicine. I think that we
No,
go
I
into
think what
things with all good
happened,
intent. We're just
but I think what
naive and
happened was just
stupid.
like capitalism took over, and all of a sudden
And
everyone's
all it
here.
takes is one poor person's intentions for, like, usually greed, um,
Yeah.
like muddying the water, and then it just and it's not to say that medicine doesn't help people. I'm not saying that.
No.
But there's a lot of this whole
Correct.
situation on the like
I think it's the
when Reagan
ethicality of
started
what
this
we're
whole
saying.
war on drugs situation,
Oh,
it
that
just
was a
shot
race
our
war.
entire right, it just shot everything to
Not
shit.
to say something controversial, but
Oh no, well, I mean, it shouldn't be controversial, guys. It's a literal like truth. It's history. Like, if you don't
yeah.
believe in this, you need to go back and double check your resources, because I'm sorry, I'm just not in the point anymore where we can just cover up the fact that there are things in this country that were full on established because of racial injustice. And if you're not aware of that and you don't agree with that, like, don't listen to us and don't be a part of our conversation. But I'm not going to change my stance to make you feel more comfortable when it's a general issue that we still have. Period.
Period.
Does that cover your feelings too, Maria? I think you're
Yeah.
there.
Yep. All right.
Um,
Next topic.
but yeah, I don't
It
I
started
think that
there, is what you're
we
saying.
just
Yeah.
yeah, that's like that the war on drugs created all of this issue between, like, what's a good white drug and what's a bad black drug. And then now we're at the
Mm-hmm.
point where, like, like overdosing and cocaine is like the war
Yeah.
on drugs is has nothing to do with drugs anymore, because you are getting more we never would have gotten to the point where your doctor can give you scarier drugs than you could get from someone on the street corner, whether they're black or not, if the war on drugs didn't happen. That was literally an opportunity for the trusted white doctor to start making money and capitalizing off of the fact that people were afraid to go anywhere else. And if you
Period.
think that your doctor is not a drug dealer, the next time that you go in there, you walk in there and be like, "So, how many prescriptions did you write this week?" And see what they say.
Oh my god. And then have the doctor just be pissed at you. And oh my god. Okay. Um
I am not. It is in the last couple months. It has gotten very dangerous how
do you just not like
unapologetic I am about the realities that I see about around me
oh okay. And right now specifically medicine.
in medicine, because I spend too much time here, um,
Here.
like in this place, in dealing with people in the medical world.
Oh, okay, okay.
And I have to say, all of the stuff that's happened with my father
Oh yeah, you've seen it firsthand. Before.
definitely gives me like a
Perspective.
really strong stance, and I have no more tolerance for the bullshit because of it.
I can see that.
And it makes me, when I find people, I do work with some amazing people in the medical field,
Yeah.
and in those interactions I find solace. But I also know that they have a lot of the same feelings and are fighting the battle from the inside that I never in a million years would want to have to step into, because
And it's such a big
it's already
industry
right. The system is
that
so
like
solid.
yeah, it's the same thing with any system, the political system, the medical system, the I don't know, business system, just everything. It's just like it's so big and massive that like even capitalism, like what is one person, and this is unfortunate, right? Just what is like one person buying a Tesla and not like a fossil fuel, just a gas car gonna do really for the world? You know what I'm saying? It's really on the industry and the big Fortune 500 companies to make those decisions on our behalf.
Which is why the whole climate change acts,
Yeah, which is
the
it
whole
sucks.
thing,
Yeah, because
it
nothing is gonna happen unless these big
right.
Fortune 500 Amazons, WalMarts are gonna actually do something.
And those conversations didn't all of a sudden start now, friends. Those conversations,
No, they've been going on for
the
years.
people who are more aware, I mean, these conversations started in the 60s and the 70s, right? When people who were aware, whether they had the real data and the paperwork in front of them or not, there were people who were cognizant of all of this stuff happening back then, and no one wanted to listen to them. No one wanted to believe them. Like all
And no
those
one
other
believes them.
things, right?
Yeah,
Like it and a lot of it got brushed under the rug and ignored while these companies continued to act the way they did in their frivolous and unresponsible actions. like if are direct results of the fact, like the reasons why we got tornadoes in New Jersey a couple weeks ago. Like it's just
Yeah. Yeah, it's
we're
wild.
just touching on all of the things today that
I
Brittany
mean,
is
because
not
like
unapologetic. Like I'm unapologetic about the fact that if you don't believe climate change is a situation, like
it's also, I mean, if we're talking about just ethical standpoints, like the anti-vaxxers are just also doing a tremendous bad thing for the environment. It's just period.
yeah, yeah. And it's not to say I don't. It's funny because if you go back to if you go back to like previous episodes on our podcast, I was not happy about the vaccine and I was very scared. And I think that if we go back to the beginning of this conversation,
Yeah,
my issues with the pharmaceutical industry are 100% why I was afraid of this vaccine. All the
that they're
things that
just
we just
pushing
talked
it
about.
for their own agenda, like
Right.
financial
And I
agenda.
don't think that I still don't believe that wasn't part of it.
Oh, well, I
Like
mean,
but when you
mm,
if if I still held that stance, life would, for me would be very different today. But it's about the being able to be open to taking on and like learning and taking on new opportunities to take different perspectives and
yeah,
like
I
be able
agree.
to turn around and be like, you know what, my stance then was my stance then, and like I have different
And
feelings
you can
about
grow
it
from that
now
opportunity.
because
Is
I
that,
yeah
yeah?
because I learned because I
Because you
really
researched and made your own personal research, and not research as in like people saying they have to do more research on the vaccine is like you're going to Google. That's not
and you're
research.
not going to get any more information than most
Because I
now
know,
there are more people who you will have more information from other people. Like I'm not going to say that everybody is fully educated about it, but like
yeah,
you're
I'm not
not
fully
going to get
educated about it.
anything that's
You're
not
not going to get
outright told to
anything
you.
right. Like, and also the things that you're probably Googling about the vaccine are probably pro your
Well,
own
this is
mindset.
let's talk about this, right? Google, the perpetuating issue of you're going to find whatever opinion on Google you want to find on Google. Google's either going
And
to
you're
support
probably
you if you
searching
want it
for
to or
that.
not.
Yeah, exactly. You're
It
probably
is a
searching for the same
it is a search
situation.
engine, friends. It is a search engine. It is
Right.
not a
It spits out it spits out
data
your
scholarly. That's why Google
right.
Scholar exists. It's not a scholarly thing unless you choose for it to be.
Right. I don't know why I got into that.
I don't know. We're talking about people being informed about the vaccine.
Oh yeah, because you were saying how like, climate change and everything, and
Yeah.
also, I mean, the anti-vaxxers. Oh, because I tweeted one like the other day. I was like, I'm so tired. The anti-vaxxers are just so exhausting to even listen to anymore. That I'm just like, please just get the vaccine. Like this could be not done. This thing is never going to be done. I was talking to
It's
my mom. She's like, this COVID is not going to be done ever in our lifetime or ever whatever.
no.
It's like
And
literally going to be like the
whatever
flu,
the worst
and
part about
like
it is whatever major issue comes of it, like whatever major detriment it takes on our it probably won't come for generations. Like we won't see it.
no long term COVID like is not. Yes, people have had COVID and like the effects of it. If are like what 2 years if you got it, or like a year if you got it in 2020, whatever. Long term, you don't know what's going to happen. Same thing with long term having this vaccine.
Right.
I would rather though have this long term vaccine effect than this long term COVID effect.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
agree. Because at least my immune system can counteract and like
And there's
so
booster shots, just like the flu. I just got my flu vaccine,
yeah.
so it's
You
like
wanna know what's gonna be real fun? Right?
what?
Ready? Here's a real mind boggler for you, right? This you have COVID, you don't have the vaccine, your respiratory and immune system is compromised, right?
Yeah,
You look at climate change and you look at the future of our like the future of our world because of how just ass terrible our like
yeah.
environment and our air quality is going to be. So you're going to be somebody with a compromised immune and respiratory system
From
who's
long term
going
COVID
out
effects. Yeah,
going out into a world that's got shitty air quality and not good support for
you're
you.
gonna be living like
We're going
so.
to be on a ventilator before you turn 30.
We're gonna be living like so in Korea and China. They have I mean, we even have on our. I don't know if people are aware that like the weather apps usually on like all of our phones have the air
Say the
quality
air
on
quality,
here.
yeah.
Right.
And if
In
you guys don't
Korea,
live in New Jersey,
yeah. Go ahead.
we'll talk about this later. You go first. Talk
Oh,
about
well,
Korea.
in Korea, when I was in Korea or whatever, or just even just like just knowing the Korean like air quality, like there are warnings sometimes. They're like, put a mask on. The air quality today is bad. Like that's going to happen over here.
Yeah.
China is also like, because their pollution over there too is very it's like known that their air quality is bad, and sometimes I guess I'm gonna assume, I'm sure on the news they're like, today's air quality is bad, please put on a mask. It's gonna be like that here.
Yeah.
if
I
not,
mean, honestly, Jersey's already there. We just don't talk about it.
yeah, like our air quality, I don't know what the number 39 means. It literally says air quality 39, which is good. I don't know what that means. I really don't know what that means,
I don't
but
know. We'll have to do more research on this, guys, and get back
yeah,
to
I
you.
don't know what it really means.
Um,
I'm sure it's like all the pollutions in the
but that's
air
literally what I
during
was
the
going to
day.
talk to next. So
Yeah.
and this hasn't happened to me. Maybe that's probably why I haven't really been sick. But whenever I go on any type of traveling where I leave the state and
Yeah.
I come back, I get sick in a way that I don't understand because it's all respiratory stuff.
Ah,
Like I
that's probably
can't,
why a lot of people get sick when they come back.
yeah, because the air quality is
The air
garbage.
quality is shit
This is why I have an
all
air
around the world.
purifier, friends, because I wouldn't still be here if it wasn't for that.
Yeah, yeah.
But I just feel like I think that so much of the time we get so caught up. I think that we have very mixed understanding and this like very commercialized, fantastical understanding of what preventative healthcare is supposed to look like. And
Well, I mean,
preventative
like,
healthcare
yeah.
is
Go ahead.
literally getting enough sleep.
Okay. Here's the thing with getting enough sleep. Uh,
Both of
Personally,
us are,
me,
I'm saying this and I'm giving you guys this advice, and it doesn't mean
yeah,
I can always follow it and I understand, but I'm saying like this is part of the problem.
right. Like personally, like I don't get enough sleep, right? Like, or like if I get enough, like if I get 8 hours of sleep, it's not 8 hours of quality sleep. You know what I'm
Sure.
saying? Like, whatever. The issue becomes just for an average American, our work lifestyle,
Right.
our
But that goes
40-hour
back
work
to
week.
what uh the surgeon, the ex previous, I don't know how to say like
Previous,
once
previous,
was without like making it seem like he was fired, but I don't think he was.
previous. I'm sure.
Yeah, previous. Let's stick to that. Like going back to what our previous surgeon general said, your mental health has a like if that's the number one thing that affects. He was talking a lot about loneliness, and he was talking about it in the context of
Oh
COVID.
yeah, this stemmed from loneliness, which
Right.
I
He
mean,
was talking
yeah,
about
that's
it
a
in the
whole yeah.
and it was really interesting to listen to the research that he's like gathered and gone back into and how it affects like your chemical imbalances of your brain and leads to like major illness. But um you're just having to deal with life and being anxious and like especially like looking at it from my own perspective, being somebody who is struggling with how to bridge out of constantly
Mm-hmm.
being in fight or flight and constantly dealing with anxiety, if that's a number and the health of the relationships you have with others are two major things
Oh my god, yeah, just
that could
relationships in
stem
general,
into you having issues with your health.
right?
Like what the fuck are we doing? Plus on
What?
top of that you add in like proper nutrition, which
Oh,
like I literally just told you guys about how that doesn't work out for me. Um, even when
right.
I try, then you're
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about your sleep quality, then you're talking about your air quality, then you're talking about like sedentary lifestyles and not being
mm-hmm.
active enough.
Right.
It's just
It's hard to
we make the
live.
yeah, we make the perfect storm for ourselves.
It's just very hard to live in this day and age.
And then
And
it
like I
sucks that like being able to live a healthy life that's preventative and healthcare like seems so out of grasp and just seems
yeah,
so much like people blowing smoke up your ass, and it's like why even bother?
agreed. Everything's just gaslit and
So
gatekeeped and all that stuff.
how do we not guys, the beginning of this entire conversation is literally just such a downer and I'm so sorry. Um so how do we make it better?
I don't know, but I while we were talking, I literally googled the happiest countries in in the world.
Okay, can't wait. Is like Sweden
And
up there?
yeah, it's all like the that area. I don't know what the
The
Nordic
areas that have
area.
more green and more land than anything else.
So I
More
googled
more places for trees to grow than they have to park cars.
because like yeah, so because like that also if
That's another statistic that bothers me. There are more homes for cars in this country than there are for people.
so yes, that's a whole different story. I mean that sums up just our country, I guess. But so to determine the world's happiest country,
Ooh.
it's the GDP per capita, social support, healthy life expectancy, freedom to make your own life choices, generosity of the general public. I'm just listing these. I'm like, wow, America. Um,
Where does America
perceptions.
fall on this?
I'll tell you. Perceptions of internal and external corruption levels. Heavy hitters.
Moment
So
of silence, friends.
top 7 happiest countries in the world. Um, is Finland number one, and their score, and this the scores out of 10, or yeah, out of 10, and they got a 7.8. So like Finland at a 7.8 is number one.
Does it give you the like ratios for each level for each thing?
Yeah, it gives a chart, but hold on. So Finland, Denmark, Switzerland,
All that area, got it.
Iceland, Netherlands, Norway, Sweden, and then honorable mention. So the eighth country is Bhutan.
I don't even know where that is.
I
Full
I don't even know
disclosure.
where that is. That's fine. But so the average score is a 6.7, right? And then I'm gonna go to
I don't know where
America.
does America land.
Hold on one second. Where's USA? Sorry, I like just saw it and so what I say the average was 6.7.
6.7.
America stands at a oh, I mean that's not bad. 6.94. Hmm.
I don't agree.
And I feel like and I
You want
wonder
to know
why.
why? You want to know why? And I wonder
What number are we?
when they're
Yeah, go ahead.
when they're rating this.
We're
You want
18th.
to? I don't think
Go
I
ahead.
don't. Here's my issue with this. Okay,
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
Can you go over the
The categories of
yes, yeah,
yeah,
again.
yeah, yeah. Hold on. I'm literally looking at this is a whole report.
I'm gonna
And
read
again,
it.
guys, I only Googled the like happiest countries in 2021 and like I only clicked like the first link. Like this isn't a full research and
No, no,
deep
go
dive into
okay,
this.
go over the categories. I have a theory on
GDP.
this.
Okay, it's GDP per capita, which I feel like that's that might be it. Social support,
Wait, okay, define GDP.
gross domestic product.
What does
So,
that mean?
man, my econ knowledge is shit. So GDP is the total, and this is I feel like this is why America's up there. The total value of goods produced and services provided in a country
So like what
per
like
year.
how much people have access to things. That's
The
what we're
total,
grading.
the goods produced and services provided. So our work, like our services provided to in a country, plus all anything that's produced in America
Okay.
per capita. So
So
I'm assuming that's
like
like
you
per
said,
person.
we're talking like the economic
The
health.
economic wealth of the whatever per capita
Okay, keep
is per
going.
capita per person per capita.
Mm,
Yes, per person.
okay.
And
Well,
I
it's
feel like
fine.
that's why America's up there. So that's GDP per capita.
I already don't agree, but okay, keep going.
Social support,
hmm
healthy
Deemed as
life.
okay, do they give you like specifics for what that means?
What these mean?
Yeah,
Let me listen and let me look at this. Social support, healthy life expectancy. Are you writing this down? Is what
I
you're doing?
am. I
Um,
oh yes, I am.
here, freedom to make your own life choices,
Okay.
generosity of the general population, and
Okay.
then the last one is perceptions of internal and external corruption levels.
Okay.
Now the definition of these, let me see if they have it.
I have thoughts. What a surprise.
I'm trying to figure out like if they have a definition of what these things mean.
Well, I can tell you what I think they are, and then if you
Go ahead.
agree, nothing else matters. Um, people at home, if you agree, then maybe you'll follow along with my thought process on this. So, social support, I'm thinking like relationships, right? Like your relationships with others and feeling like you're supported, like the basics of having like your hierarchy seen of like being acknowledged and heard and all that, right? We're talking
Yeah,
like
I would
Maslow's
assume
hierarchy here.
so. Yeah, I would assume so.
Healthy life expectancy. Define healthy first and foremost. You want because this is the stuff that I feel like you need to define because otherwise
100%.
you can skew this however you want to.
Right.
Define first of all, I'm putting healthy question mark. Life expectancy, I understand that. We are just okay. I'm just gonna say life expectancy, how long you live, right? And then we're gonna talk about this. Then freedom to make choices. I got so much going on there.
Yeah.
Population generosity. Okay, that one's we're gonna talk about that one too. And then last one is your like seeing internal or external corruption. So here's my thought on all of this.
There's also World Happiness Report. Do you know about this?
Mm-mm.
I don't either. I just stumbled upon it. It's a 200-page report that comes out every year.
Oh,
Anyways,
who's
go
it
go.
done by? Who's it done by?
I don't know.
Okay, well we're gonna look into that. So everyone listening at home. So here's my thoughts on this, guys. So I we literally just had a conversation about how the Surgeon General within the last decade talked about how loneliness is killing more people than anything else.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna go with social support. lies. First of all, second, that's my. I have nothing else to say. I already gave myself defense for like my defense for that at the beginning of this
Right.
episode.
Right.
The healthy life expectancy. My issue is that I don't think. I feel like we are on that spectrum already skewed because all the good things that we have access to in medical, that like all the things that we said are great about having our medical care, that other
Mm-hmm.
countries just don't have access to.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
like
I
I feel
agree.
like we, if you look at like on a global scale, our country, because we have access to things that help people live longer, maybe not actually live healthier, but live longer, we have access to more of that. We're going to be higher up than a lot of other countries already. So that's going to offset the balance to put us anywhere. Would you
I agree with
agree?
that. Yeah, I
Okay,
agree with
cool.
that.
So that's why this is like, I don't really know how I feel about that. My next part, the freedom, I feel like the freedom to make choices part, along with the population generosity one, I feel like yes and no.
Yeah. No, I
But
agree. Yeah.
the corruption one, I feel like these three things are a big part of my issue with our country is that we put up this front of illusion and then don't actually, or like only when it's convenient for us, and don't address it when it's shitty. So like the freedom to make choices. Let me tell you, the we have the freedom to actually take the action. But the amount of emotional manipulation that happens around the choices that we make for our lives are not okay. And you're laughing. I know you agree with me and you're not saying anything. But just the basis of like the American dream and the fact that let's talk about how the American dream that our families came to this country with. And I'm going to say our families because most of you that are listening, including myself and Maria, like come from a line of immigrants in some way, shape, or form. So throwing that out there too. We come to this country with this sense of no. We come to
No,
this
no,
country
no.
with a sense
Yeah.
of really true hope and belief that we're going to
Correct.
make something
Yeah.
better for our families,
Nothing's
right?
false. Yeah,
And
nothing
no,
nothing is false when
it's
people
a
come over.
beautiful hope that brought people to this country, and it's a beautiful hope that I think should still live
It
in this
still rings
country.
true. Let's
Yeah,
be real
but
here.
the
Like I would
issue,
rather be here than
right? I agree, guys. America is great, but there's shit with America that's not okay, and we don't talk about it enough.
this is what we're trying to say though. America's great. It's like yes and like
Yes,
yes, this
right.
is true, but
Yes,
like and also it could be better.
and
XYZ.
our the upcoming generations are the ones who are going to really enforce that change because I think that
Yeah.
again, our ancestors came here with a sense of having an immense amount of freedom and an immense amount of hope about what life can be. But somewhere along the line, from those generations to our generations, there's been this skew about what the American dream is, and it's getting farther and further and further away for us to be able to actually attain in the way that our ancestors wanted us to attain it because of this level of a manipulation that is geared on ageism, racism, sexism,
All the
all the
isms.
isms, all the isms, under like functioning under the rug without us being able to see, like the great concept of the Wizard of Oz. So that's how I feel about that situation. Is there outright in our country more freedom for us to make choices? Yes. But our choices are being heavily manipulated by emotional trauma, and we're not talking about that. So that's how I feel about that one.
And just misinformation.
Right. And I feel like it's something that we don't talk about in our global stance because then it would knock us off of our place of being the number one country in the world. Like we don't talk about the emotional manipulation and the weakness because then it would make us look like
I just feel like there shouldn't be a pedestal for a country, period.
Agree. So that's that one. The population generosity situation. I don't feel like we're
Depends on the
not.
day.
Yeah, I honestly, I think, I. How can you be generous when you live in a mental environment that breeds scarcity? You can't.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean like what else is there to say?
So there's that. And then my last one is the internal and external corruption. I have nothing to say.
I don't have anything to say either.
Why the fact that I have to spend every day wondering if someone's trying to manipulate me because I don't trust their judgments, and the lack of trust that I see around me innately brought me up having a lack of trust for myself is all I have to say about that part. So I
Period.
feel like based off of our, without us doing anything, right? And talking about the real problems
Correct.
in America, based off of like our stance compared to what other countries just have access to, that
Yeah, we are gonna be
entire
high up
right. That so I don't think that's
regardless.
true. So tell me again what that it's a scale of what? What is it based like
What do you mean?
measuring?
Like the score?
Like what? Yeah, what does the score say? It's like a measurement of what?
Just okay. Hold on.
Was it happiness? I don't remember what you said.
Happiness. Yeah. World the happiness and like I want to see if like so I'm looking at the world happiness report thing. I mean, 200 pages, so I can't digest this in 2 seconds.
No, I don't
But
expect you to. You're good.
um, I'm trying to see if like they define happiness. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like I think it's just like the quality
Like
of life.
what they're definite. I mean, like when you are doing research and you're gathering data, you have to give a definition to
Right. To like what you're
support
measuring.
what you're looking for.
Our measurement of subjective well-being, I guess well-being or happiness, relies on three main indicators: life evaluations, positive emotions, and negative emotions. Our happiness rankings are based on life evaluations as the more stable measurement of the quality of people. I think it's just quality of people's lives.
Quality of life.
Yes.
So outright, when you
Outright,
look
America's gonna be up there. We know
right, but
this.
and this is the truth of like the greater issue, right? Is if you look at our country from the outside, which is why people keep coming here, right? It's the truth. People
Yeah, I
see our
mean,
country from
duh.
the outside, and a lot of the times compared to where we are, just without even doing any work compared to other countries, we stand out. But what we need to overall address, and this goes all the way back to what we're talking about with preventative medicine, is that there's a lot of not cool shit that goes on that we don't talk about, and this is why we
Yeah.
just send out such a fucked up. It's just so it if America was a person, it would be that person who like in high school walks around and like
I'll say the one that peaked in high school.
bullies other people and like shows off all the time, but then like goes home and like sits in its room and cries itself to sleep. Like that's America if it was a person.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like outside,
And
looking in or
it
whatever.
just makes me sad because I really do think that this country is great, and I really do think
Yeah.
that there's
No
we have
one's
so much. And we're still a
denying
young
this.
country, right? Which is something that I think we always need to. You always used to say this, and I always hear your voice in my head about this. It's
Yeah,
like
we
we
are
are
only
still a
like
really young
200,
country,
300 years old. And we're going up against like China and Japan and like Korea and like all these
right?
really ancient countries that
Right,
with world histories of like the BC era, like
right.
we're infants.
Right. And it's like and that's why it's so easy to say like we're relatable to that Sims game because we're just we're the human experiment of society and like
Yeah,
we're not
basically.
making the greatest choices. But it's just, we, what makes me so frustrated and the reason why I keep getting so heated about all of this is that we have so much potential and so much opportunity. And it makes me really sad when, as a society, we squander it for individual personal gain instead of community well being.
That's just the Western, like non-communal
That's not okay.
personality.
I'm over it.
You should move out into the East.
Not accepting. But that's the thing, right? I couldn't because I was raised to be a female here. And that's the thing that's frustrating, right? And I think that's why our country is having the curve that it's having, where our generations are really starting to be aware of this, is because our families raised us to have this sense of awareness and want all of these things, and with the ability to speak our minds and realize what's going on and be observant and make comments
Mm-hmm.
and have a voice. But then we're growing into this place where we're told we're supposed to have that, and then we're looking around and being like, well, this is not what we were talking about. Like, this is
I
not what we
think
were
no,
prepared
I think we're
for.
being I think we're being told that our perspectives are valid, which is fine, but like not understanding that there are other perspectives.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? I think that's what's happening. Because like we can say that yes, we're more progressive as a generation compared to the older generations, but these older generations are having kids and teaching them the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's what's happening.
No, I don't disagree with you. I mean, there's a general overall issue of like it's okay for you to show up with a voice, but if you're not showing up with your ears before you show up with your
Yeah, that's
mouth,
the whole
you're not
issue.
helping.
Yeah, you're not helping the issue, like the situation.
Which
Like,
is
yeah,
why
we all have opinions, which is
yeah,
great, but also you should be listening.
right.
and
And
like not discrediting other people in front of you.
that's I think where we very much, that's the struggle, right? I think that I definitely have is like I try really hard to listen to other people, and the only
Oh yeah,
time,
it's hard, but it's doable.
right, the only time where I'm going to choose really not to listen to you when we need to take a walk away and you can come revisit like the seat at the table later is like if, and we've said this before on this episode, like this podcast, is that if you are
You
in
can have an
here,
opinion, but
right,
like if
but
you're mean,
if you're outright doing something to belittle somebody else for any reason that
yeah,
involves like your own personal self gain, whether it's just for your ego, like we're not having a
we're
conversation, then
having a
you don't have the
conversation.
right to talk to me.
Exactly,
But
you're not having a conversation because I have conversations with people all the time. But then
yeah,
when it turns into something personal, that's a whole different issue.
right. And you want to know this, circling it back to the medical field, what turns me off about people in
Uh
the
huh.
medical field is when you go into conversation with them. And I've been in these situations and they do not end well because
Because you're
if there's
challenging their authority.
if there's any sense of like, I know better than you and you should listen to me, and how dare you say something to me, that conversation's over. And I'm sorry. And you guys know that I'm an emotional person. And there are moments still where my volatile emotions get the best of me. But just to give you guys a real example, the wrong time to try to pull that bullcrap of your authority on me is not when my father is in a medically induced coma and like in a vegetative state. Like that's
Here's
not the
also the
time for
thing,
you to
but
pull that
here's
on me
also
because
the
I'm going to
thing.
yell at you until I'm
My
ready to
mother,
vent.
again, my mother uh says this all the time. She's like, these doctors don't have any bedside manner. They could not care less. She tells me all the time, like, the doctor will come in and be like, so you have cancer. Here are all the options. Call me if you need me, and we'll just leave. And my mom's like the next nurse in
And
line
that
to
ends
go
up
in, and she's like, now I have to deal with it, and
making the
it's
person
so
sicker, right? Because
right
they're
because like
emotionally
they're so bad. They
traumatized.
couldn't care less. Which is also goes back to the whole like they don't know anything about mental health because like they are only looking
They
at
practice that all the
whatever they're
time.
practicing. Yeah.
Right. They're showing that they're not well versed in it.
No, they're like socially inept.
And this is right, and this is and the same, remove, like, strip out the title of your profession. If you take that stance in any conversation you're coming into with any person, that person is not listening to you. And I see it all the time in like just in teaching, right? Especially because I'm teaching kids that are even like take all the stuff that we were taught as kids from like our stronger parents and double down on that, right? They are so
Mm-hmm.
used to, I had a conversation not too long ago with a bunch of my students talking about how like you spend more time defending your rights of like, and I work with dancers, so like you spend more time defending your rights of like not wanting to wear a leotard in class, like something that like helps me help you take care of your body to make sure that you're dancing safely. Like you will fight with me about that until you're red in the face and say that I'm the worst person ever. But when it comes to me trying to teach you about advocating for the safety of your body and telling a choreographer that you're not going to do a move that's going to hurt you so you can't walk in 30 years, like you won't open your mouth. And it's the same thing, same conversation, different type of like context
Yeah.
of the conversations that I have with my father, like I have with my dad, because he's in a generation that he was told you listen to your doctors and you do what they say, which is why he hates doctors, because he knows if he goes there he's going to get scolded in some way, shape, or form, right? Or told that he's not doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Same conversation of like you're going to fight me about like the things that you need to be doing to help yourself, right? Like the things
Yeah.
that you can change to like alter your habits and help you to support your overall wealth and health, like health and your
Yeah. Yeah.
all that stuff,
Yeah.
like wellness. I don't know why I said wealth, your overall
No.
wellness. But like you're gonna fight with me about like me telling you like you need to eat quinoa every once in a while, and like be mad at me about the fact that like things aren't going the way that
Because
you want them
habits
to.
are hard to break.
But it's
You
just
know what I'm saying?
no, and it's just like I we fight for the things that we feel more comfortable fighting for. We open our mouths about the things that are important to
Yeah.
us, and like the fact that we don't get, but like the things that we do have the ability to take control over and open our mouths for and like stand up for are the things that we give to others willingly. I'm going to give my health to this doctor because he has a piece of paper that says that he's a doctor. Cool. I'm going to relate this to dance friends. I'm going to give the overall wellness of my body and my mental state to a choreographer who has no idea what it's like to live inside my body.
It's
I'm going to
because
give the
again they're more
thoughts on the way that
professional.
I see the entire world to this person who sits on the news every morning because he sits there and I sit here.
Right. And I mean that's just how biases and all that good stuff, like all these opinions form.
If we just the places you
Look,
choose to have awareness, like you
it's so
have to
easy
regulate
though.
yourself. I know,
But
but you can't
like
do
this
it if
goes
you're on
back to like,
autopilot.
yeah, this goes back to like just like life is just, it's hard to
Really
maintain.
complicated?
It's just hard to maintain, you know? If you know, if you do something super like unhealthy and you know it's unhealthy, but like it's the easiest thing to do, you're probably gonna do it.
Yeah, and I agree. I get it. And that, like I have my moments too and I know better and I still do some of the stuff that's really convenient and then I pay the consequences for it later and that's cool.
It's just
That's
a
fine. That's
cycle.
a part of being human. But like I would rather have the awareness, and honestly, this talks about all the stuff with my mental health and the fact that I create a lot of issues for myself because I know better and then I don't do it and then I make myself feel guilty. But like when it comes to certain things, we have to wake up, guys. Like preventative medicine, stuff that's going on in society, climate change, like you cannot ignore this stuff. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I wish that we could coddle you and you can be enabled and you can live in your bubble. But whether you realize it or not, like you're either gonna, you're gonna sit on the train and you're gonna deal with your angst while it goes through the station, or the train's gonna hit you and you gone.
I mean, it's usually the people in privileged situations that don't really do anything because they're already good. Life is good. Why bother, dealing with climate change and whatnot? You know what I'm saying?
But like,
Same thing with like anti-vaxxers. I didn't get
not good
sick,
enough
so
for
why does
me.
it matter? You know what I'm saying? Like my immune system is gonna just, deal with it because I haven't gotten sick. Whatever. I'm like, all right, I guess. Really? Like, if you're already in a privileged position, you're not gonna change. It's just fact.
I know you're right. And that's not good enough for me. That's just not good enough for me. Like to the point of where like I want to sit you in a chair and just slap you upside the head until like something clicks in your brain.
I don't know what to tell you because that's
Listen,
just my.
we're all of this stuff. We're literally hitting on the fact that this is part of the reason why I'm never satisfied because I have a really deep innate fear that if I don't keep making myself better, I'll turn into somebody who ends up being like that in some type of situation. And like,
Yep.
I don't want to be. So if that's my reason for never being satisfied, I feel like I can justify that. I'm okay with that.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I guess it could be worse, right?
You know. So
So yeah.
that was a lot of me being on just now. I really need to go take a nap. Like that was a lot of me.
And also, guys, it is late. It's 8:30 at night.
That was
Like
a
we're not
lot of
recording in the
on for
morning anymore.
me. A
Yeah.
lot of on for me. Like I'm gonna feel like really hungover tomorrow.
Yeah. So there's
Thank
that.
you, Vivek Murphy, for making my entire insides light on fire.
And now it's
And
out and
now
we
it's
can
out and
move
I'm over
on
it
for
for
right
another
now.
couple months until somebody does something
Yeah,
else. But
yeah, until you find some other research paper or something to be mad about.
I have a very interesting topic for us to discuss in
Already
our
for next
next
week?
episode. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Great. Can't wait.
You want to know what my biggest thing is? I think that, like I said before, I was not a person who felt fully comfortable or confident in sharing the fact that I had a feeling like this because I know that with Maria, these feelings are like we're on the same page.
Yeah,
But it
definitely.
can be really hard to feel these types of feelings and not know and like know who to talk to about them. Like if you feel like you're swimming against the stream of fish in the world. So I really
Yeah.
hope that you find I was just
Go
having a
ahead.
conversation with Sam today too about how like
Yeah.
I love the way our friendship has evolved over like the past 2 decades because we can have conversations about so many things and just be in it with each other and it be okay and be seen and not feel like
Well,
we're being
yeah.
judged or
That I
anything
mean,
like
that's a good sign of any
yeah.
whatever, right? Because like you don't want friendships or like relationships in general to just be like, yeah, you're right, like 100% of the time. Like that's not growth.
No. And
That's
it's
not
like
fair to any of
you
you.
don't want your
And like
your perspective or your opinions or your
and
thoughts on
like you're
things
not
to be
being
disregarded
100%.
either.
Yeah, you're not
Yeah,
being 100% just
it's
period.
exhausting, which is exhausting.
Exactly. Like why put up a front? Like that's not.
But like find the people in your life who you can do that with because like Dr. Murphy said, loneliness is the number one like lead of illness.
And
And
I
like
believe that.
nothing makes you feel more lonely than feeling like you're not being heard or acknowledged. So if you do nothing else over the course of this week, like find people who help you feel seen and
Hmm.
find ways to like foster and maintain really strong relationships with people. And if you need any support on how to do that, Maria and I are like, we got you, and we can be those relationships for you because it really makes a difference. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode. I apologize for all the heat that you feel as I start speaking, but it gets better towards the end.
If you made it this far, congratulations.
If you would like, never mind. Never mind. Thank you so much for listening. I'm just going to end it. We love you guys. Don't be lonely. Be together. And we will talk to you on the next episode.
Okay, bye.